Greetings, quiet warriors. Have you ever paused for just a second and asked yourself a question most people are too scared to face? What if what the world calls love is sometimes nothing more than a beautifully decorated fear of being alone? What if the rush into relationships, the obsession with couple goals, and the desperate need to be chosen is not strength, but quiet panic dressed up as romance? Look around and you'll notice a painful pattern. So many people are not partnering from wholeness, they are partnering from emptiness. They are not searching for connection, they are fleeing from silence. They are not choosing love, they are running from themselves. The Stoics understood this far better than our modern world. They saw how easily people chain themselves to desires that weakened them, how often comfort became captivity. Seneca warned that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality, yet many still spend their best years clinging to relationships simply because the idea of being alone feels unbearable. But deep down, you already know it. There's a quiet voice inside you that whispers when something feels forced, when something feels wrong. And yet, most people silence that voice just to avoid the discomfort of solitude. This isn't a message that attacks love. This isn't a celebration of cold isolation. This is about power. This is about reclaiming yourself. This is about learning to stand so firmly in your own strength that if love comes, it comes as a choice, not a crutch. Because real love is never born from fear. Real love is a gift exchanged between two complete beings, not two wounded souls clinging together just to survive. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Don't fear death. Fear never starting to live." And in a strange way, many people stop truly living the moment they become terrified of being single. They stop growing, stop exploring, stop becoming, all because they are obsessed with not being alone. If you are ready to see the truth clearly, if you are ready to step into strength instead of chasing comfort, then stay with this message. And before we go deeper, if you know you are on a journey of self-mastery, clarity, and inner power, this is your space. Hit that subscribe button now. Don't just listen and disappear. Join the community of those that build stoic quiet strength without noise, that refuses to live small, that chooses depth over distraction, strength over illusion, and truth over temporary comfort. Subscribe and walk this path with us. Now let us explore why staying single might not only be okay, but might actually be the most powerful decision you make for your growth, your peace, and your future. Number 1, you avoid the wrong attachments. There is a quiet tragedy unfolding every day that most people don't notice. Lives being reshaped, dreams being buried, futures being dimmed, all because someone refused to be alone for a while. The wrong attachment can drain years of your life before you even realize what is happening. And the scariest part? The person doesn't have to be evil. They just have to be wrong for you. So many individuals rush into relationships because the silence feels unbearable. They don't ask the hard questions. They don't observe patterns. They don't give themselves time to see who someone truly is. They only feel the pull of loneliness and the desire to escape it. And so they compromise. They rationalize. They ignore red flags and call them flaws everyone has. Until one day they wake up and realize they have shaped their entire existence around someone who slowly eroded their sense of self. When you stay single, you create distance between yourself and this disaster. You give your mind the space to think clearly instead of being clouded by emotional hunger. You learn to ask, does this person bring me peace or chaos? Do they respect my inner world or do they constantly disturb it? Do they make me stronger or smaller? The Stoics believed that freedom is the highest form of wealth. Epictetus taught that true strength lies in not being enslaved by your desires, and desperate attachment is one of the most powerful chains. When you are single, you are not tied to someone's emotional storms, their insecurities, their unhealed trauma, or their need to control. You breathe more freely. You think more clearly. You move through life without carrying someone else's unresolved pain on your back. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. But the quality of your thoughts is also heavily shaped by the quality of the people closest to you. When your environment is peaceful, your mind becomes peaceful. When your inner circle is toxic, your thoughts become chaotic. Singleness acts like a filter. It sharpens your perception. You no longer see people through the haze of desperation. You see them for who they are. And that vision protects you. It keeps the wrong ones at a distance and prepares you for the right ones someday. So don't see singleness as rejection. See it as protection. A pause that shields your heart and preserves your future. It is better to walk alone in clarity than to walk with someone who slowly dims your light. And if this resonates with you, if you're beginning to see the wisdom in choosing peace over panic, pause for a moment and subscribe to this channel. This is not surface-level motivation. This is deep mental recalibration. And you deserve to be surrounded by voices that elevate, not distract you. Subscribe now and continue this transformation. Number 2, you gain total ownership of your time. Time is one of the most misunderstood gifts in human existence. People spend it as if they have an unlimited supply, yet every second that passes is a piece of life that will never return. Seneca spoke powerfully about this when he said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." And nowhere is this more evident than in relationships that drain instead of develop. When you are tied to the wrong person, your time is no longer yours. Your schedule revolves around their emotions, their availability, their expectations. You start negotiating your own hours. You find yourself justifying how you spend your evenings. You sacrifice moments of personal growth for conversations that go nowhere and arguments that resolve nothing. But when you are single, your time answers only to you. You wake when you choose. You rest when your body asks for it. You chase ideas without interruption. You pursue growth without guilt. You can disappear into a book, a vision, or a project without someone accusing you of neglect. Your time becomes a sacred tool again, not something constantly borrowed or stolen. This freedom teaches you something most people never learn. That time is energy. And where you invest it determines the direction of your life. While others are stuck in cycles of drama, emotional turbulence, and constant compromise, you are building, reflecting, evolving. And the powerful part? That investment compounds. Days of self-focus turn into months of growth. Months of discipline turn into years of mastery. While others are emotionally exhausted by relationships that give nothing back, you are getting stronger, sharper, clearer. Owning your time also means owning your rhythm. You are not adjusting your life to fit into another person's emotional calendar. You are moving in harmony with your own purpose. And that alignment brings deep peace. Ask yourself honestly, how much of your time have you already donated to people who added nothing to your growth? How many hours went into explaining yourself, apologizing unnecessarily, or trying to maintain harmony in relationships that were never meant to last? Singleness gives you a rare opportunity to reclaim what was lost. To use your time intentionally. To build instead of distract. To evolve instead of emotionally babysit. And here's the paradox. The moment you start valuing your time as a single individual, you become far more selective about who gets access to it later. You no longer allow just anyone into your sacred hours. You understand that your time is your life. And you guard it accordingly. If you're realizing how valuable your time truly is right now, don't just keep listening in silence. Take action. Subscribe to this channel and surround yourself with teachings that teach you to honor your life, your minutes, and your destiny. This is not entertainment. This is evolution. Number 3, you strengthen self-mastery. There is a level of power that only solitude can forge. It cannot be gifted. It cannot be borrowed. It must be built. And staying single creates the conditions for that building. Relationships, especially unhealthy ones, create noise. Emotional noise. Mental noise. Distractions that pull you away from your inner discipline. You spend your days managing feelings instead of mastering yourself. You sacrifice routines for comfort. You trade progress for temporary peace. But when you are single, silence becomes your training ground. Epictetus declared, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And self-mastery is not born in constant emotional stimulation. It is forged in quiet consistency. In routines you commit to when no one is watching. In discipline you uphold even when no one applauds. Singleness gives you that environment. You begin to shape your mornings intentionally. You form habits that strengthen your body and sharpen your mind. You align your actions with your vision instead of someone else's expectations. You build a relationship with discipline that is deeper than fleeting romance. Self-mastery also reveals your emotional patterns. You face your triggers. You observe your weaknesses. You confront the parts of yourself that relationships once distracted you from. And in that confrontation, you grow. This growth is not loud. It is silent, it is steady, and it is profound. Every time you choose growth over comfort, discipline over distraction, reflection over reaction, you carve a stronger identity. You become less reactive, more grounded, more intentional. And the stronger you become internally, the less you look for external anchors. You stop needing someone to stabilize your emotional world because you have built that stability yourself. That is real power. Not dominance over another, but mastery over self. So don't underestimate the hidden strength in your single season. This is where warriors are formed. Not in applause. Not in affection. But in solitude fueled by purpose. Number 4, you protect your energy from toxic influence. Energy is invisible, yet its impact shapes every experience. When your energy is clear, life flows with lightness. When it is polluted, everything feels heavy. And nothing contaminates energy faster than sustained connection to the wrong person. Toxic individuals don't announce themselves. They arrive as charm, as comfort, as apparent care. Yet slowly, they begin to drain you. They twist your perception. They make you doubt your intuition. They turn your peace into constant tension. When you're single, your energy remains your own. You do not wake up to emotional chaos. You do not fall asleep carrying the weight of unresolved arguments. Your nervous system remains calmer. Your mental space clearer. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But those thoughts are influenced by the energy around you. And when your environment is toxic, clarity disappears. Singleness allows you to choose peace. To say no to drama. To walk away from manipulation without guilt. To protect your mental and emotional atmosphere like it is sacred, because it is. When you experience what calm feels like, you become unwilling to compromise it. You develop boundaries not from bitterness, but from understanding. You see clearly who disturbs your inner flow and who respects it. This isn't isolation. This is self-preservation. And in a world that glamorizes chaos as passion and instability as intensity, choosing peace is a revolutionary act. Number 5, you learn to truly enjoy your own presence. At first, silence feels unfamiliar. You sit alone and feel the urge to fill every gap. But with time, something transformative happens. You begin to understand your own rhythm, your own preferences, your own voice. You discover that your laughter echoes just as beautifully in empty rooms. That your thoughts are not your enemy, they are your teachers. That your presence is not something to escape, but something to cherish. Marcus Aurelius revealed this truth when he wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself." And staying single gives you the sacred opportunity to prove that to yourself. You gradually shift from waiting for companionship to becoming your own companion. You enjoy solitude not as punishment, but as sanctuary. You realize that joy does not sit across the table. It rises from within. And when you reach that place, something powerful happens. You stop seeking someone to save you from yourself. You start choosing people who respect your wholeness instead of exploiting your emptiness. This shift transforms your entire relationship with life. And if you are beginning to feel that shift, if this message is stirring something real within you, then do not walk this path alone in silence. Subscribe to this channel now and continue strengthening the bond with the most important person in your life, yourself. Number 6, you break free from the hunger for validation. There is a silent addiction that traps more people than they ever realize. The addiction to being approved. The need to feel chosen. The craving to hear someone say, "You're enough." And while affection can feel beautiful, dependence on it is a dangerous cage. When your sense of worth is tied to another person's opinion, your peace becomes fragile. A single change in their tone can shake your confidence. A single moment of rejection can unravel your entire identity. But staying single loosens that chain. You no longer wake up wondering if you're still good enough for someone else. You no longer calculate every move based on how it will be perceived. Your choices stop revolving around pleasing and start aligning with authenticity. You begin to live from the inside instead of performing for the outside. Epictetus spoke clearly on this when he said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, stop tying your self-worth to the reactions of others. True strength is not built in applause, but in self-approval. Singleness forces you to confront this truth. At first, the silence can feel loud. You might reach for your phone, scroll for likes, crave affirmation. But if you resist that urge and stay present, something powerful happens. You start witnessing your own value without needing a witness. You learn to speak kindly to yourself. You learn to celebrate your own progress. You learn to stand tall without needing external confirmation. And once that shift happens, you are no longer controlled by the emotional economy of approval. And here's the paradox. The more you stop seeking validation, the more grounded and magnetic you become. Confidence rooted in self-awareness cannot be shaken by indifference or ignited by praise. It simply exists. If you're beginning to feel this realization rise within you, don't just keep it to yourself. This journey deserves commitment. Subscribe now and continue feeding your mind with guidance that builds independence, not insecurity. You were never meant to live for applause. You were meant to live in truth. Number 7, you become powerful through solitude. Solitude is often misunderstood. It's labeled as lonely, as empty, as something to fear. But the truth is far deeper. Solitude is not absence. It is refinement. It is the quiet forge where inner strength is shaped. At first, the stillness can feel uncomfortable. There are no distractions, no constant voices, no emotional shields. Just you and your thoughts. But instead of running, if you choose to stay, you begin to witness clarity. The Stoics recognized this power long ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can a man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Solitude is not isolation when it is chosen with purpose. It is sanctuary. Here is where you learn endurance. You sit with your sadness instead of escaping it. You breathe through your discomfort instead of covering it with noise. And in this silence, you begin to understand yourself more deeply than ever before. Each quiet moment strengthens your emotional resilience. You realize that you can face your fears and still remain intact. You navigate solitude and discover peace on the other side. This peace is not loud. It is grounded. And once you have tasted it, external chaos loses its grip on you. Solitude teaches you independence, but also wisdom. It sharpens your thoughts. It deepens your self-awareness. It allows your vision to clear without interference. When you are comfortable in your own presence, you do not rush into situations simply to escape. You no longer fear your own company. You find comfort within it. This is power. And if that power resonates with your spirit, take the next step. Subscribe now. Let this channel be your companion as you master the art of solitude, strength, and self-direction. Don't just watch your growth. Commit to it. Number 8, you focus on your path, not on pleasing others. There is a dream within you that requires your full attention. A calling that demands discipline. A purpose that cannot be fulfilled while your energy is splintered across emotional obligations. Relationships, especially unstable ones, often demand constant compromise. You begin to delay your goals, shrink your vision, adjust your rhythm. All to maintain emotional balance with another. Over time, your mission fades into the background while someone else's comfort dominates your life. Staying single changes this dynamic completely. You no longer dilute your ambition. You pursue your goals unrestricted. You pour your attention into what sets your soul on fire. Your life becomes intentional, not reactive. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's true delight is to do the things he was made for." But most people abandon that delight to preserve fragile harmony with someone who was never aligned with their purpose. Singleness gives you the gift of focus. Your schedule revolves around growth, not emotional maintenance. Your energy fuels creativity, vision, and progress instead of constant reassurance. You stop asking for permission to become who you are meant to be. And when you align with your mission, your life begins to take shape with meaning. You walk with direction instead of drifting. You build instead of survive. If you feel a stirring of purpose as you hear this, do not silence it. Nurture it. And join a space that encourages your evolution. Subscribe now and keep feeding the fire that moves you forward. This is not the season to shrink. This is the season to rise. Number 9, you cultivate emotional independence. One of the most overlooked strengths is the ability to regulate your own emotional world. Most people are taught to outsource their comfort, their joy, their stability. They lean on others for reassurance. They crumble when alone. They hand over their emotional power without realizing it. But singleness becomes the training ground for emotional sovereignty. You begin to learn how to soothe yourself instead of demanding comfort. You learn how to process pain instead of crowding it with noise. You understand your moods instead of suppressing them. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Emotional mastery is not suppression. It is understanding. It is awareness. It is choosing response over reaction. You begin to notice patterns. You observe your emotional triggers. You understand the difference between loneliness and solitude, between need and connection. And in that awareness, your emotional strength grows. You no longer feel shattered by silence. You no longer panic at distance. Your sense of stability becomes internal, not borrowed. This independence does not make you detached. It makes you grounded. You no longer search for someone to stabilize you. You become the calm within yourself. And when love eventually finds you, it meets a person who is whole, not someone looking for repair. If you are starting to feel the strength of emotional independence rising, protect it. Honor it. Strengthen it. Subscribe now and commit to this journey. You were not meant to be emotionally dependent, you were born to be emotionally sovereign. Number 10, you become complete before you share yourself. Perhaps the greatest lie society feeds is the idea that you are unfinished until someone else fills the gap. That you are half a story waiting for a romantic conclusion. But this belief is dangerous. It convinces you to enter relationships from desperation instead of choice. Staying single dismantles that illusion. You start to see that your life is already full of meaning, even without a partner. You uncover your strengths. You explore your voice. You develop your values. You realize that wholeness is not something someone gives you. It is something you build. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. And it is through this realization that you stop seeking someone to complete you and start preparing yourself to share joy from abundance. You stop clinging. You stop bending. You stop negotiating your identity. You become enough. And when you finally allow someone into your life, you are not handing them your missing pieces. You are offering them a complete being who chooses connection, not dependency. This is the highest form of readiness. So let this be clear. Staying single is not delay. It is preparation. It is refinement. It is becoming. It is strength in its purest form. If this truth resonates deep in your mind and heart, don't end this journey here. Subscribe now. Build with us. Grow with us. Become with us. You are not half a soul wandering in search of completion. You are a whole universe learning to shine. Now let it sink in. Being single is not a failure. It is not a void. It is not a space to rush through. It is a sacred chapter where power is forged, clarity is born, and identity is strengthened. When you remain single with intention, you protect yourself from the wrong attachments that destroy silently. You reclaim your time and shape it into legacy. You cultivate self-mastery without distraction. You preserve your energy from toxicity. You learn to cherish your own presence. You rise above the hunger for validation. You grow through solitude. You align with your mission. You build emotional independence. And finally, you become whole. This is not weakness. This is evolution. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." And the courage to stand alone, to resist panic, to embrace silence, is one of the bravest choices a person can make. So if you are in this single season, don't fight it. Don't curse it. Use it. Shape it. Honor it. Let it refine you into someone unshakable. And hear this clearly. The one who learns to stand alone with peace will never again accept love that costs them their soul. So ask yourself honestly, are you avoiding being alone, or are you rising into who you were meant to become? If this message moved you, stirred something in you, challenged you, inspired you, do not disappear after this. Subscribe now. This is not just a video. This is a journey toward strength, self-mastery, and a life lived on your own terms. And remember, you are not incomplete. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are already whole. Protect that truth. Live it. Walk in it. Because when the world tells you you must be paired to matter, you will stand and say, I am enough, even alone. And in that moment, you won't just survive life. You will command it.